Red lights. You'd think they're the safest place on the road. You're stopped, you're not moving. What could go wrong? A lot, especially if you're a new rider. I'm Matthew from Autozium, and today we're talking about the habits you need to stop doing at red lights, unless you enjoy picking your bike up in traffic. Let's break it down. Putting both feet down instantly. Let's talk about the foot panic. You know the one. You're rolling to a red light, and the moment your wheels stop moving, you instinctively jam both feet down like the bike's about to explode. It feels safer, right? Like anchoring yourself to the pavement will somehow keep everything under control. But here's the reality. It's actually one of the riskiest moves you can make at a stop. Why? Because you're giving up precision and reaction time. If your front tire hits a patch of oil, gravel, a slick painted line, or even a minor slope, you might not be able to adjust quickly enough. You're now a statue with no control. And that statue? It's top heavy, made of metal, and ready to tip if your balance isn't perfect. Now, I get it. When you're starting out, both feet down feels stable. But in reality, it removes the finesse you need when things don't go as planned. The fix is simple, but powerful. Left foot down, right foot on the rear brake. Why the right foot on the brake? Because it keeps your bike from rolling, forward or backward, especially useful on inclines, tight spaces, or stop-and-go traffic. That little pressure from your boot stabilizes the bike in ways two dangling feet never can. And keeping your left foot down gives you full control over the clutch and throttle, the most critical controls when it's time to move again. This technique isn't just for show. It's the standard for experienced riders. You'll see it in every advanced riding course, and it's used by pros around the world. So next time you come to a stoplight, resist the urge to slap both feet down like it's a panic landing. Instead, make it a smooth, controlled stop. Left foot down, right foot steady on the rear brake. It'll feel awkward at first, but give it a week or two, and you'll wonder how you ever rode without doing it. 2. Not checking your mirrors. You stopped at a red light. You're doing everything right. Smooth downshift, clean stop, bike upright, foot on the brake. But then, nothing. You're just sitting there, waiting. Maybe checking your gloves. Maybe zoning out for a second. Meanwhile, behind you, a distracted driver is flying up at 40 miles an hour with one hand on their phone and zero idea that you even exist. That's how riders get rear-ended. That's how good days turn into ambulance rides. Your mirrors aren't just for lane changes. At red lights, they're your early warning system. You should be glancing at them the moment you come to a stop, and every few seconds after that. What are you looking for? Simple. Is the car behind you slowing down? Are they maintaining a safe distance? Are they weaving, distracted, or brake happy? Do you need an escape plan? If something doesn't look right, you need to be ready to act. That means leaving a bike length or two between you and the car in front. That buffer zone is your exit route. If the vehicle behind isn't slowing in time, you want to be able to roll forward, not sideways, not panic dismount. Here's a pro tip. When you stop, angle your bike slightly to the side, not dead center. It gives you more space and more visibility. If something goes wrong, you're not boxed in. Too many riders get lulled into false safety at red lights, but you're still in traffic, still in the danger zone, still exposed. So do yourself a favor. Build the habit. Mirror check at every red light. Because when that 3,000-pound steel missile is flying toward your taillight, you want to see it coming. 3. Letting go of the clutch too early. You've been there. We all have. You're stopped at a red light. Your brain's already jumped ahead to what's next. Green light, throttle, off you go. So you start to ease off the clutch early, and suddenly the bike lurches forward, bucks like a mule, or worse, stalls right in the middle of the lane. Cue embarrassment, honking, maybe even a foot-down scramble to keep the bike upright. But this isn't just a beginner blunder, it's a mechanical mistake. When you start releasing the clutch before the bike is actually moving, you're doing two things wrong. 1, you're slipping the clutch with no forward momentum. 2, you're guessing what traffic's about to do, instead of reacting to what it's doing. This combo doesn't just look messy, it stresses your clutch. Why? Wears out your friction plates prematurely and throws off your whole flow at intersections. The fix? It's one phrase that should be burned into every new rider's brain. Preload and feather. Here's how it works. Preload. Give the throttle just a touch of gas, enough to bring the RPMs slightly above idle. Feather. Gently pull the clutch into the friction zone, the sweet spot where the bike wants to move but hasn't fully engaged yet. Then wait. Clutch in. Hold steady. Eyes forward. Foot on the brake. You're in ready mode, but not launching yet. The second you see movement ahead of you, you're already primed. You smoothly release the clutch, roll on the throttle, and glide forward. No lurching, no drama. This habit is more than just a technical tweak. It makes your takeoffs look pro level. No jerky jumps, no stumbles, just clean, confident motion. And it's safer too. If you let go of the clutch too soon and traffic doesn't move, you've already committed to forward motion. You're in no man's land. And in dense traffic, that's a dangerous place to be. So build this habit now. Make preload and feather your mantra at every stoplight, because when you control the clutch, you control the ride. 4. Leaning the bike too far over. This one doesn't sound like a big deal until your boot slips, your balance shifts, and 500 pounds of motorcycle starts falling over in front of a dozen cars. Here's what happens. You pull up to a light, stop, and casually let the bike lean way over to one side while you rest a hip. Maybe you're tired. Maybe the road's uneven. Maybe you're just taking a breather. But motorcycles aren't meant to hang sideways at a dead stop. When you lean too far, you reduce your control and increase your risk. One moment of distraction, a slick surface under your foot, or a patch of gravel is all it takes to go from chill to chaos. Especially if you're riding a taller bike or a cruiser with forward controls, leaning too far over also throws off your center of gravity, making it harder to recover if things shift unexpectedly. The better way? Stay upright, stay centered, stay ready. Here's how. When you stop, plant your left foot firmly on the ground, with your right foot on the rear brake. This keeps the bike vertical and stable. Use your knees and core to keep the bike balanced, not your ankle or hip. Don't rest the bike on one leg. Keep it light. Keep it mobile. This isn't a couch, it's a machine. This upright stance also gives you better visibility, better reaction time, and better positioning if you need to move quickly. And it just plain looks cleaner, more controlled, more experienced. Pro riders, they don't sag into their stops. They roll in smoothly, hold the bike upright, and stay dialed in until it's go time. It's a subtle habit, but one that makes a massive difference over time. So next red light, resist the urge to lean like you're taking a nap. Stay balanced, stay engaged, and ride like someone who owns the moment, not just survives it. 5. Parking in neutral at every light. It sounds harmless, even relaxing. You roll to a stop, flick your shifter into neutral, let go of the clutch, and exhale. Maybe stretch a wrist, maybe wiggle your fingers. Seems fine, right? But here's the thing. Parking your bike in neutral at a red light might be one of the most dangerous habits you could have in city traffic. Why? Because it robs you of your biggest safety weapon, the ability to move instantly. Let's paint the scene. You're stopped, you've got your helmet on, music playing, sun shining, life is good. But then, in your mirror, or worse, out of nowhere, you spot a car flying toward you. Fast, distracted, maybe on a phone, maybe not slowing down at all. And you're in neutral. You now have to pull the clutch in, click into first gear, find the friction zone, roll the throttle. That's 3 seconds too long. In a true emergency, those seconds matter. In fact, they're the only seconds that matter. Now let's say you were already in first, with your clutch in and your left foot planted. That same car barrels down behind you, but you're ready. You can release the clutch, twist the throttle, and dart forward into that buffer space you left between you and the car in front. Boom. You just saved your bike, and maybe yourself. Riding is all about positioning. Neutral might feel nice, but it removes your options. And good riders never give up options when stopped in traffic. So let's make it clear. Neutral is for parking. Neutral is for long stops, like train crossings, long delays, or when cars are already stopped behind you. But at a typical red light, stay in first. Clutch in, left foot down, right foot on the brake. It's more work, but it's also how you ride like a pro. And pros ride ready. #6, looking down or zoning out. This one's deceptively simple, but it might be the most common mistake every rider makes at a stoplight. You stop, you check your phone, glance at your dash, stare off into the horizon, maybe even get lost in thought. You're not moving, so you figure, what's the harm? The harm is this: motorcycling demands presence at all times, even when you're not moving. Red lights aren't brakes, they're holding patterns. And when you're in that pattern, your brain still needs to be fully engaged. When you zone out, even for a few seconds, you miss things. The car behind you creeping too fast, a sudden lane change to your left, a pedestrian stepping into the crosswalk ahead, or even just the light turning green, catching you off guard and causing a clumsy launch. We're not cars. We don't have crumple zones, airbags, or blind spot monitors. We have our eyes, our instincts, and our awareness. Treat every stoplight like a moment to scan, not scroll, not slack off, not relax. Here's a quick habit to build. The moment you come to a full stop, go through a mental sweep. 1. Mirror check. What's behind you? Fast car? Big truck? Are they slowing? 2. Side glance. What's happening in the lanes next to you? Any merging traffic? 3. Light scan. How long has this red been active? What's the opposing traffic doing? 4. Bike check. Clutch in first gear, feet where they should be. This entire scan takes less than 5 seconds, but it puts you in the mindset to act, not react. Because when the light goes green, the road comes back to life, and you don't want to be shaking off a daydream when that happens. So next time you catch yourself staring at your dash or checking your gloves, snap back. You're not just a rider when you're moving. You're a rider every second you're on that machine. Stay locked in. 7. Letting go of the bars completely. All right, confession time. We've all done it. You're sitting at a long light, traffic's backed up, your clutch hand is cramping, and you think, let me just stretch a second. So you take one hand off the bars. Maybe both. Maybe you even lean back a little. No big deal, right? Until it is. Because here's the cold truth: you're still in traffic. And traffic doesn't care how tired your arms are. Letting go of your handlebars while waiting at a red light seems harmless, but it puts you at a huge disadvantage when things change suddenly. And in traffic, they always do. Let's say the light turns green faster than you expect. The cars in front of you surge forward. You scramble to get your hands back on the bars, grab the clutch, shift into motion, and suddenly you're jerky, off balance, and maybe even stalling in the middle of a moving intersection. Or worse, imagine someone behind you creeping up too fast. You notice too late, and now you've got no grip, no balance, no control. You're fumbling for the clutch while your bike starts tipping to one side. At a red light, even though you're not rolling, you're still riding. And riding means staying in a ready position, always. So here's the rule of thumb: keep at least one hand on the bars at all times, preferably your throttle hand. Your right hand is your control center. It's the throttle, the brake, and part of your balance. Want to shake out your clutch hand? Fine, but do it quick. Do it smart, and only if you've got the other hand fully ready to stabilize the bike. Remember, stoplights aren't parking lots. You're not in your garage. You're surrounded by multi-ton vehicles, piloted by people who may or may not be paying attention. Your bike doesn't need both hands on the bars every second, but it does need you to be ready for anything at any moment. So save the stretches for the shoulder. At the red light, hands on, eyes up. Mindset lockdown thoughts. Red lights aren't exciting. They're not where you feel the wind or hear your exhaust sing, but they're where a surprising number of riders get caught off guard. Tip overs, rear end calls, stalls, panic stops, all because of a moment's distraction or a habit that feels harmless until it's not. Being a smart rider doesn't just mean knowing how to corner or rip through gears. It means knowing how to stay mentally switched on, even when the bike isn't moving. So the next time you roll to a red light, don't tune out. Tune in. Foot position, mirror check, escape route, hands ready. You're not riding paranoid. You're riding prepared. Because when the light goes green and the chaos resumes, you'll be ready to ride like you own the lane. I'm Matthew from Autozium. Ride smart, ride ready, and I'll see you out there.